When we first got married, Matt was in a really good job, had a really good salary. We had bought our own house and everything was pretty comfortable, but I think there was just an underlying sense from Matt that God wanted him to step out and start up a business for a friend. I don't know if he would say it was audibly the voice of God, but he definitely felt that sense that God just dropped into his spirit, I want you to set up a business for your friend Guy. So he did. It was definitely the first time we'd stepped out in faith in something like this, right at the beginning of our marriage. Going into that first year was really exciting because we felt like, yeah, God's in this, he's told us to do this. But it was a good 2 years of thinking that things were going to take off and then actually nothing did. During that 2-year period, we also had our first son, which obviously puts pressure on, finances and being secure. We'd got to a point where we didn't feel we could see God in it, and we were thinking, well, maybe we haven't heard from God, maybe this was just us making it up. And we decided to go to the park one morning, and we were just sitting and praying about it, and we just felt like we were really happy to lay it down. We said to him, we only want to do this if it's what you want us to do. And we went back to the house, and there was an envelope that had been put through the door, and inside it was a £5 note, and attached to the £5 note was just the words, God loves your wildest dreams. And I think that catapulted our faith levels. We didn't know who it was, we didn't know who had left it, but we just felt like it was God sort of answering the question at that time, is like, you can trust me. The interesting thing about the journey is that there's been growth, and when you look back, like now, we can see how much God's grown it, but actually going through it, to us, it just feels very up and then down and then up and then down and then a left and then a right. One of the biggest things for me has been like really letting go of control. It's frightening at times because we've felt like we've lived on the edge a lot. Once you give your life to Jesus, you are basically surrendering everything. So that means everything, and that means your family, your children and their lives, and your finances are a massive part of that. And sort of trying to keep back anything from God is never a good idea. It just doesn't work. But God knows what he's doing, and I think our faith has had to increase because quite often we haven't had the provision until the moment we've absolutely needed it. The more that happens to you, I think the deeper your faith goes, because you know that God will come through for you every time. So now there's the IT service provider, there's also a software development part of the company. We also are partnered with a coffee shop in town. We basically just follow where we feel like God's prompting us or leading us. When you sign up for the Christian life, it doesn't always mean comfort and ease. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're always going to feel God's right there beside you. The main thing I would take out of our whole journey is that God is faithful, and he's been faithful when we had nothing. And he's faithful now that we're living in the blessing of what he's doing. You can't outgive God.